All right, if you're a Jeep owner, you know that feeling, right? That dreaded check engine light flicks on and your heart just sinks a bit. Well, today we're going to hunt down one specific gremlin, code C1015. And hey, by the end of this, you're not just going to know what it means, you'll have a full-on, step-by-step battle plan to get it fixed. So, you plug in your scanner, and there it is, C1015. What now? It sounds kind of cryptic, right? A little intimidating. And you're probably wondering where on earth to even begin. Don't sweat it. We've got you covered. Think of this as your roadmap from uh-oh to all fixed. Let's dive in. Okay, first things first. To solve any puzzle, you gotta understand the clue. So, what is your Jeep actually trying to say with this C1015 code? Okay, so what it boils down to is this. C1015 points straight to a problem with your right front wheel speed sensor circuit. In plain English, your Jeep's brain isn't getting a clear, steady signal from the little sensor that's supposed to be tracking how fast your front right wheel is spinning. Now, you might be tempted to just write this off as some minor electrical glitch, but trust me, it's not. See that one little sensor? It's feeding critical info to your anti-lock brakes, your ABS, and your traction control. So the takeaway here is huge. Fixing this isn't just about getting that annoying light to turn off. It's about making sure your Jeep's most important safety systems are actually working when you need them. All right, take a look at this. This is basically our whole game plan laid out right here. We've got every possible suspect lined up, from the easy stuff like a bad wire all the way to a faulty part. Just think of it like a funnel. We're going to start at the wide end, the most common and easiest fixes, and then logically work our way down. Sound good? Okay, time to get our hands a little dirty. But hold on, before you go grabbing a bunch of fancy tools, we're going to start with the best diagnostic tool you already own, your eyes. So here's the checklist. First, find the wiring that goes to the right front wheel speed sensor. You'll see it coming from the back of the wheel hub. And I mean really look. Are there any obvious breaks, scuffs, any spots that look like they got too close to something hot and melted a bit? Next, check those plastic connectors. Is anything cracked? Is there gunk packed inside? Look at the little metal pins. Are they getting all green and corroded? Seriously, you would be shocked at how often the fix is something simple you can spot right here. All right, so what if everything looks perfect? If your visual check comes up empty, it's time to dig a little deeper. We need to investigate the two electrical highways that make this sensor tick, the power going to it and the signal coming from it. It's actually a really simple idea. You've got two key circuits here. The B7 supply circuit, that's the power line. Its only job is to deliver a steady 12 volts to the sensor. And the B6 signal circuit, that's the data line. It's what carries the wheel speed info from the sensor back to the Jeep's computer. If either one of these lines has a problem, boom, you get the C1015 code. So the first thing you're going to test is that B7 power line. Basically, you're looking for a few things. Is the wire broken somewhere in the middle? That's what we call an open. Or is it accidentally touching the metal frame of the Jeep? That's a short to ground. Your mission is to make sure that good, clean power is making it all the way to the sensor's doorstep. Okay, so once you know the power supply is solid, you're going to do the exact same check, but this time on the B6 signal wire. This is the path the data is supposed to take back to the brain. So, is the road clear? Or is there a roadblock, an open or a short, somewhere along the way? All right, now let's talk about a sneakier kind of electrical problem. What happens when those two wires, the power line and the data line, get a little too friendly with each other? Now, this is a really important check. See, if the protective coating on those wires wears down and they touch, that 12 volts from the power line can bleed over into the data line. And what happens then? It completely scrambles the signal. The computer gets gibberish instead of good data, and it throws its hands up and gives you that C1015 code. Okay, so let's imagine you've done all that. You've gone over every inch of the wiring, you've tested both circuits, and you've made sure they're not shorting out to each other. Well, if all the wiring is perfect, then congratulations. You've just narrowed this whole investigation down to two final suspects. So you've put in the work, you've checked every wire, you've tested every connection, and you know for a fact there's no damage, no shorts, no interference. And what that means is the problem has to be with one of the two big pieces of hardware at either end of that wire. And here they are, the last two on our list. It's either the right front wheel speed sensor itself has just given up the ghost internally, or, and this is less common, the anti-lock brake module, the computer that's listening for that signal, is the one that's failed. Now, at this point, you'd usually replace the sensor first. Why? Because it's way more likely to be the problem, and it's a whole lot cheaper to replace. Whew! Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. So let's just pull it all together one last time into a clear final game plan just to make sure it's all locked in. And here it is, your complete C1015 investigation plan. Step 1. Always start simple with that visual check. Step 2. Test the power circuit. Step 3. Test the signal circuit. Step 4. Make sure those two aren't shorting out to each other. And only after you have ruled out all the wiring, then and only then do you start suspecting the hardware itself, the sensor or the module. Following this order will save you a ton of time, a bunch of money, and a whole lot of frustration. You know, when it's all said and done, it really boils down to this. This isn't just about playing mechanic for a day. It's about being an informed owner who understands their vehicle, knowing what this code means, and having a system to track down the cause. That's what gives you the power to keep your Jeep safe and running the way it should.
So, there you have it. You've got the roadmap. You know who the suspects are, and you know the exact steps to track them down. The only question left is, where are you going to start your investigation? Thanks for sticking with us.